We're just gonna go over this question.
Is this going on YouTube or?
Hi, I'm Cody Lavoie with
Bryson Howard.
and today we are interviewing
Sergeant Tooling.
Nice to meet you, Mr. Tooling.
You too?
Nice to meet you.
We have a few questions for you today. If you don't mind answering them. Where and when were you born?
I was born here in Muskegon, Michigan, May 4, 1980. I was actually born at Hackley Hospital and grew up down by Recky's Bakery in Muskegon, kind of in the ghetto.
That's right. We grew up actually. Same.
Now, have any of your family members served before you?
I've had three that I can think of. Three family members served. One in Korea and two in World War II.
Wow.
And one was killed in action during World War II near Italy. On a little island close to there, he was shot down.
Wow. Now, what were you doing before you entered in the service?
Before I went in the service, I went to college, got an associate's degree, nearly my bachelor's degree in computer science, applied science. And I was working at a local business called Aerofoil International, and I was doing subcontract work for L3 Communications for the Bradley tank transmissions.
Wow.
And I wanted to go in the military right out of high school, and my grandmother wanted me to go to school, so I went to school. 10 years later, I was 28 years old, and I joined the military.
Oh, wow. In which branch of military did you serve in?
I did 3.5 years active duty infantry with the Army, and I'm currently Michigan National Guard.
Did you enlist or were you drafted?
I was enlisted. I don't believe we haven't had a draft since Vietnam.
No, I didn't think so either.
Yep.
If you enlisted, why did you choose the specific branch of military you chose?
I chose infantry because if I was going to go in the military, I was going to go all the way.
Yep.
So, and infantry's it. I missed the active duty infantry.
Sounds about right.
Yeah. Where did you serve?
I served. I was stationed in Fort Knox, Kentucky. I first went to basic training at Fort Benning, Georgia. 16 weeks there, and then they PCS'd me to Fort Knox, and I was stationed at Fort Knox for pretty much the rest of my active duty service, except for when I went to school for a month at Fort Polk, Louisiana, which is the armpit of the Army. Fort Irwin, California, which is NTC, that's the other armpit of the Army. And then deployed to Afghanistan. And then on our way to Afghanistan, we went through Iceland, we went through Leesburg, Germany, we went through Georgia, Russia, we went through Kyrgyzstan, then Afghanistan, obviously, Kuwait, and a bunch of states in the United States as well.
If you weren't on the front lines, what were your duties?
If I wasn't out patrolling and on missions and everything else, my duties are in the back where I had 2 soldiers underneath me to make sure that they were doing the right thing and their gear was ready and they just keep an eye on them. And then, as I was saying in the classroom, I was the armorer. So when weapons got broken or malfunctioned or monthly we had to do inventories, that was my duties. I had to fix the weapons and I had to make sure everything was inventory, nothing was missing. And then just kind of whatever else. It was everybody's duty when we were there on our COP to do COP improvement. So I did a lot of, drove a skid steer or a bobcat, did some area beautification, fun stuff, spreading gravel and stuff, because when it rained, the moon dust, the desert sand and everything would just turn to muck and nasty and everything else, and trucks would get stuck in place and everything. So we brought in, they hauled in all these rocks, and we spread those over the whole COP, and that would kind of alleviate getting stuck in the mud and everything. So I did a lot of that stuff too. And then we built the gym in 14 days, and this gym had 3 squat racks, 3 benches, 2 pull-up bars, 2 full sets of dumbbells, 6 treadmills, 2 ellipticals, 2 row machines. I mean, and we built this thing. We, like the whole company, just whenever we weren't out, we built the thing in 14 days. So it was quite the building. So we kept busy.
How did you return home, by boat or airplane?
Airplane. When I came home on leave for 15 days, I actually got to ride in a 747 jet on an Airbus as well. And then everything was there and back was airplane. And then getting to our COPs or some of the smaller bases to get to our final destination was helicopters. Chinooks, and then we called them presidentials. If you ever saw Air Force One helicopter, it looked very similar to that. We used that as well.
How did you readjust to civilian life?
I'm still readjusting. I'd say it probably took me a year. I had a hard time sleeping, always scanning, always looking. oftentimes I either saw an exit in front of me or there was one behind me. I was very aware, still probably very alert. I don't know that it'll ever go away. I mean, you talk to World War II guys and
Right.
Vietnam guys, they'll probably tell you the same thing. You know, it gets better, but I wouldn't say that it'll ever go
Never go
away.
away.
I mean, and you know, I was fortunate enough I didn't lose any friends. You know, none of our guys got killed. We had guys in other companies that were, you know, acquaintances that got killed, but I didn't. I was fortunate enough not to see anybody get killed, or you know, some friends got hurt, but nobody got killed. So that probably makes it a lot easier for me.
Right. What have you done since separating from the military? Which
I'm still in, so I'm doing the National Guard thing. And when I came home, I unfortunately came home to a divorce, and so I spent a lot of time taking care of that. And then I was gone for the first year of my son's life, so I just really I've spent most of my time FaceTime with him as much as I can. And then I've had to go to schools. I've gone to 1, 2, 3, 4 schools I think since I've been back for the National Guard. So I spent time doing that, and then my cousin's got a construction business. I've helped him out too, and just little stuff, helping family out, and just kind of trying to become a citizen again, so to speak, a civilian, I guess.
Right. Is there anything you feel like we haven't discussed or should be able to interview in this interview? Like if we didn't discuss at all or anything different?
No, I think you guys did a pretty good job.
Okay.
And then, what was your definition of patriotism?
Patriotism, you know, just anybody that's served in the military, especially the ones that have gone overseas, whether it be Afghanistan, Iraq, Vietnam, Korea, World War I, World War II, I mean, the list is huge. They wrote a blank check to you, to me, if they, you know, were before me,
Right.
to, you know, cash in their life to defend our country. And like, you know, I did it so that my godson doesn't have to do it. And then now I have a son, so I'm hoping my son never has to go to war. You know, I did it for our future, for America's future,
Right.
I guess. So I'd have to say, you know, being a patriot would be sacrificing your own personal safety and well-being, and you know, for others, you know,
Right.
to make this great country drive on and continue to be a great country.
Yeah.
Well, Mr. Toy, we want to thank
Yeah.
you for doing the interview and for serving.
No,
Yeah.
no worries. Thank you.
Thank you.
And I think
That's
we're
it.
good. Yep.